Hello, everyone. Welcome to Masters in Travel. Whitney here. Today, I have a very special guest, Kat Morga from Adventure Smarter. Kat used to be in the Masters in Travel Advisor Accelerator with us, which is why I have a bit of a peek behind the curtains to know that she went from part-time to full-time to overwhelming in terms of her book of business and the volume of trips that she's working on very, very, very quickly. And so recently I said, Kat, how did you do this? And she had a lot to share that I think could be really valuable for all advisors, regardless of where you're at in business. I think the common thread that's going to run through our conversation is either building from scratch or expanding your book of business and what you did in your business to see those results. So, Kat, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks. I'm a big fan.
Tell me, let's go back to the beginning. When did you start? Confirm, I believe you started part time with a full time job, so on the side. And I'm curious to know if this idea of getting out into to your community and getting involved and making connections with, your local community was a strategy from the beginning, or if it was a bit of trial and error from in terms of like getting started with building your book of business.
So I started my business a few years before COVID, and then COVID obviously shut everything down. So COVID shut everything down, and my family relocated to Nashville. Um, I had a 6 week old baby, a 1.5 year old, and we just moved to Nashville. I was still working a full time project management job, so doing that full time. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready to start again. Like I want to do the travel stuff. And my husband's like, okay, go figure it out. And I knew since we had just moved to this new community, the only way I was going to do that was networking because that's what I had seen the seasoned travel advisors are like, you need to get into your chamber or BNI or all these different groups. And I was like, do you? But I decided to try it. Right. So I went to like my first chamber meeting and I joined the chamber and I slowly started to do networking, in-person networking. Since starting networking, I have changed different groups that I've been involved in. I've tried groups and not joined them. I have groups that I would do absolutely anything for, and I show up all the time. So I would say what people don't understand about the world of networking is that you're not, the goal is not to get a sale from the networking meeting that you're in. If your goal is to go in and be like, I never sold a trip to this group, then that's the wrong mindset. If you're doing in person networking, it is about getting your cheerleaders. So I find a ton of success and a ton of crowdsourcing in Facebook groups. So people go to Facebook groups before they go to almost anybody else,
Mhm.
right? So in the Facebook group, they're literally going to say, does anybody know someone that plans X, Y, and Z? Disney, all inclusive, honeymoon, African safari, Italy. Like they'll be very specific. I'm looking for, does anybody know? And they want to ask their community. And if only clients are shouting you out in there, it's typically you're getting a few every year over year that are expanding a tiny bit. If you're
Right.
networking, you're going to get 20 comments of people calling you out.
Of people who have not necessarily worked with you yet, but they've gotten to know you really well through multiple meetings at different
Yes.
community events. And so they feel comfortable to bring up your name and to recommend you, even though they haven't experienced your services personally.
Yeah, they vouch for you. But the the Facebook people don't know that,
Sure.
right? Like they don't
Sure.
know that they're not an active client of yours and they're just looking for more people to vouch for somebody.
Yep. Yep. No, I think that's a really good point that a lot of businesses, including my own, have really grown from repeat and referral, but you're exactly right that it's very slow and steady if those referrals are based on people who you've worked with because you have to like work with them, then they have to have a good experience, then somebody has to bring up travel within earshot of them, and then they have to be willing to like bring up your name, and then that person might reach out to you. So it is definitely much slower than building a network of cheerleaders who are willing to just kind of bring your name into any conversation.
Well, because you're doing the same for them, right? So both of you are living in the Facebook group. So it can't be like, oh, I only get recommended by people. Like you also are in there. So when somebody asks for an insurance agent, like you've met probably three at your last networking meeting, like you need to shout out who would be a good fit. So it is a
Mhm.
two-way street. It does take energy, it does take effort. Um, when I first went to networking meetings, I was so nervous that I would bring a notebook and take notes about what everybody said and like write down when they were like, our icebreaker question, like I would write down my answer because I knew I was going to mess up the icebreaker. So it is overwhelming at first, I promise, but um, everybody's there to be supportive. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there.
Right. So I think it's you've brought in like an interesting connection that it's not just about networking events. It's networking events that are specifically attracting your local community that and then you're coming home and getting on the Facebook group that is specifically connected to your local community and you're um, recommending and bringing in other business owners just as often as they are yours. So it's not just networking that
Mhm.
you have really devoted your time and energy to in order to build your book of business. It's this full circle kind of community engagement, I think,
Yeah.
is what I would call it.
Yeah. And I mean, it needs to be true to who you are, right? So, like, my whole thing is working with locals and destination, shop local, shop small, like that energy, I guess, or vibe. So, doing that, it's the same thing. So, you got to, if that's what you actually believe in the world of travel, you should also believe it in your own community.
So, when it comes to actually looking for organizations that are in your local community, and then maybe you're looking at 10 or 15 or 20 options, and then you're trying to decide which ones to join it, go to a meeting, which ones to potentially join, do you, what's the kind of mental checklist that you go through of how you're looking through that list and deciding this could be a good one for me? Is it related to business? Is it related to who might be in the room? Is it related to your personal interests? Like, how do you decide?
Ooh. So I have three, right now I'm active in three different groups. I've dropped two groups. So I have had ones that I've tried for literally a year and stopped doing because they weren't working for me. So, like when I was part-time, it was very specific on when I could go. So the timing of their networking events was the most important thing. If I
Hmm.
couldn't finagle that into my schedule, I was sort of, in trouble. But the best place to start for me was like my local chamber. So the local chamber is it's an easy start. They typically have a few events. You just go look at their event calendar and go show up. With a chamber, you typically see a variety of people coming in and out. But you have to do anything. You can try it for 2 days or typically two or three like sessions. But then when you join, you need to give it a year, like literally a full year of showing up consistently. Whether their meetings are once a week, once a month, once a quarter, you got to show up for a year. After a year, you'll know. You'll be like, I have the relationships from this. I have the trust from this. But whenever I go to a meeting, I try to have them fill different buckets. So I like to have one that's like my local neighborhood, basically, where I'm getting in front of new business owners, local business owners. I have a very small, sort of more intimate group that meets once a week. And those are like, they're essentially my friends. It's only like 20 people, but those are my biggest cheerleaders support. And then I have one that's in a completely different area of town. So you want to make sure that you're sort of diversifying the people that you're getting introduced to, because if all
Hmm.
the same people are in three different groups, we
Yeah.
don't need to be in those three groups. It's the
Right.
same people.
Right.
um, so make sure that you diversify, but the easiest way to like start looking is a chamber.
Hmm.
um, the sort of things that stand out are ones that require attendance or are quote unquote seat specific, meaning they only let one travel advisor, one realtor, one, I don't know, insurance agent
Hmm.
in. So those aren't I'm not a big fan of, only because with travel, with kids, with appointments, with like it's just too hard to commit. I don't have, I don't have a team of agents where I can be like, "Hey, go sub for me today."
Right.
So, I'm not going to do an attendance mandatory one or seat specific where we exclude people.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and to be honest, I don't run into too many travel advisors in the networking community.
Right. So you mentioned that you were a part of some and they didn't work for you. What does that look like when you attend, you sign up, you go to some events and you decide this isn't a good fit?
Well, I did it for nearly 18 months, and it was once a week. So it was a pretty big
Whoa.
time investment.
You are so patient.
Yeah, well, this was the first group that, or second group that I joined, and I had like a friend invite me. So I felt like this emotional pull, but I got zero referrals on Facebook, zero, like even like sort of out there referrals from that group ever. Not one person from within the group asked me about a trip or had like a one-to-one with me. And then not a single person referred me on a Facebook group. And I was like, this is literally giving me nothing. It gave me a lot more confidence because I had joined that group earlier. So I learned how to like sit with a bunch of these older guys and talk to them about their businesses, but they weren't interested in travel. Like they just want to sit on their boat on the lake. And I learned that.
Interesting. Fascinating. Okay, so for the groups that did work,
Mhm.
um, that whether you're still a part of it or not, because working doesn't mean that it's like a lifetime commitment. What was the difference? What did that look and feel like to say, like, no, this group, this time and energy that I'm putting into this is worth something and it's valuable?
You're reaching a different audience completely, and that audience is has some shifting to it. It has people coming in and out that you don't always see, because if you see the same 5 people or 10 people or week after week after week, like, no, we need a little bit of variety in here so that I can reach a new group, new
Mm-hmm.
audience at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that have been successful are ones that they they ask to have a conversation, because at a networking event people are like, make sure you sign up for a one-to-one, and you're like, well, I don't need to meet with this financial planner, I have a financial planner. Like, that's not the point of the one-to-one. It's just to get to know people. It's supposed to be very low risk, low key, so that if somebody needs a financial planner, you can shout them out on a Facebook group.
So, what is generally happening at these different events? Because I've been to um, a whole host of different kind of styles of events, and some are super structured so that you kind of have to talk to everybody in the room, and you don't really get a choice in the matter. Like that's how it's run, which is good
Mhm.
for like for someone like me. Otherwise, I just stand against the back wall. Some is are totally open where nothing is required, and you are just standing in a room full of people, and you have to like step out of your comfort zone and go introduce yourself. Other opportunities I've been a part of are networking ish, but it's actually more centered around like an activity or a talk or like something's happening that's not specifically networking, but you are being put in a room with a whole host of people that you don't know, and then half the event is the thing, like the presentation, the workshop, the cooking class, the wine tasting, whatever it is, and then the other half is like mingling. So I'm curious to know, like, if you have experienced all of them and they're all good, they're just different, or if you specifically look for, like, no, I'm looking to depart with 10 business cards kind of approach, and where you find the most success.
Okay, I also am an introvert and cannot do the mingle vibes
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
So I don't go to those. Like if it's just a happy hour, absolutely not. Like, first of all, I'm not going to feel comfortable enough to just, I will find who I already know. And then what's the point of having
Me
gone
too.
there?
Me too. And
So,
then I'm just watching my phone until I
yeah,
can leave. Like, is it appropriate to leave yet?
yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
don't do those at all.
Okay.
So I like the structured ones, which means I look for like meetings, or presentations that have structure to them where at the end you do something. But at anything with structure, you typically have an icebreaker, and then there's sometimes like a little lesson or a little, somebody will give some sort of talk, whether they feature a business or somebody does. Like, I host one of our networking groups and I'll teach people about the importance of email marketing, or it can be something general for many types of businesses. And then you give your 60-second pitch. Everybody goes around. I'm Kat. I own and operate Adventure Smarter, and 60 seconds timed. And you go literally person by person. And that's the
Okay.
part that scares people, I think. Yeah.
Well, but that's the part that also makes sure that that by the time you leave, everyone in the room knows exactly what you do and you know what they do. So if
Correct.
somebody needs a guy,
Yeah.
you
You
might
know a
know
guy.
someone. Okay. Um Interesting. I don't think I know how to search for networking events like this. Like if I genuinely wanted to find these types of events, I know how to find the more social happy hour mingling ones
Mhm.
that are kind of networking but not really, and I hate them. So it's like I know where they are and I'm
I avoid
intentionally
them.
avoiding them.
Mhm.
I don't even know that I would know how to start a search if I was looking for something more structured where I was expected to give a 60-second pitch.
Well, the chamber. So always start with the chamber. Your chamber
Okay.
event calendar probably has at least once a quarter something. Mine has it like literally every other week, but it's a very active chamber.
Okay.
So you could always look at the chamber. Once you're in the chamber and you start paying attention to who shows up, you ask that person. Like,
What other things they go to?
uh-huh.
Okay.
Like when you'll find and you'll feel who your people are, because that's what I did. That's how
Okay.
I've found my other groups, because there are groups for females in business,
Mm-hmm.
for, like they have like their niche
Little
groups
niche.
or
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's once you because some of them are like invite only. So you really need to like show up to figure out who are the people also showing up in the same rooms I am in, and we have similar clients we're interested in, and now we will go together to the next one.
So this is a journey. This is
Yeah.
not a show up once and get a slew of inquiries and never come back. This is like if you're looking to build a book of business or to
Mhm.
expand your book of business, this is a 12 to an 18-month commitment of showing up
Yeah.
consistently, engaging, and not expecting
Give
a
more than you take. So shout out people on Facebook, go to local restaurants and post them and tag them and then have them share your stuff to just get exposure. But like if you truly believe in shop local, shop small, I believe in service-based industries, this is how you do it because I don't come from having a a high net worth network.
Mhm,
I don't come from a group of friends that drop 100K on trips every other year.
mhm.
So for me, I need to put myself in rooms with those types of people. I need to get exposed to a broader range of people because I'm not going to go knocking on doors ever.
No, please don't do that. So do you see community engagement as something that is like a Kickstarter to like really get started in building your book of business? But then once your book of business is like thriving and then the repeat and referral does start to kick in because that will eventually, it just takes a little bit longer that the networking or the events or the community engagement, let's call it, kind of starts to slow down or taper off? Or do you see this community engagement of like, no, if I'm a small business owner, then I'm engaging with my community and that they kind of go hand in hand and that you wouldn't taper off either because that would impact the business or because we're missing the point here. You still want to remain engaged. Like
Yeah,
how are
I mean
you
that's
thinking
what
about this?
happens.
Because right, because
That's where I'm at.
I know where you're mentally at right now of
Yeah.
just like pure overwhelm. And
Yeah.
so I'm curious to know how your thoughts on community engagement are shifting or evolving.
Whew. So, I mean, that's a conversation I've had in my house. So I have pulled back. I've stopped doing certain networking events. I don't do the happy hours. I don't do like when I first started, I would have like a booth, on a Saturday all day. Like that's not happening. But I am still doing my core networking events. I also seem to take on more leadership roles in some of these spaces now, which require you to show up, but it also gives you a level of like respect and visibility to the group just by the
Mm-hmm.
position that you hold because people want to like they want to have a coffee with you. They want to sort of be in your sphere as well, which means as like me who's sort of further along in the networking world is I get to be picky about who I have a coffee with. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to take the time an hour and a half out of my day to go have a coffee with you, like I need to know that this is moving somewhere.
Right.
So I mean, I don't say no, but I really avoid certain situations,
It,
to
it
like,
sounds like just the time and the resources are just become a lot more intentional of really doing really saying yes to the events and to the opportunities that you
yeah,
feel most excited about and also that you know are going to offer kind of reciprocal support.
yeah, like, is it going to be fun?
That's a good question. Tell me more about these like booths on all day on Saturday type of thing, because that's not a networking event. That's
No, that's like a marketing event, but like you've never done those, like where you go and you
oh
have
oh I
like a
have, and I
table.
hated every second of it.
Oh, oh, they're
Yeah.
kind.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, well, I didn't hate them. It's just they're tiring because you're by yourself. Like, or at least I was. Like, I don't, if you have four agents, then sure, two do the first 2 hours and two, but I loved having those booths. Now I would be very specific that it needs to be like the most niche grouping or people or whatever. Um, but yeah, those are super fun. I always say you need to have a giveaway, and it can literally be a gift card. I usually have like wine in a box, and people put their name and email address, and I say, list your favorite place you want to go. They write it, and then now I have their email and they're on my email list. So those, it just takes a Saturday.
But this is a marketing event, so you're generally paying for this booth or for this space in the event, or not always?
Not always. Like it depends on, some of them are owned by local businesses and they're just like doing a solid for the community, but you shouldn't be paying more than $50 for it.
Hmm. What type of event are we talking about? Like when you're somewhere all day for a Saturday, where are you and what's going on?
I found the most success at some of our local either coffee shops or marketplaces where they take over like a field or a parking lot, sort of like a farmer's market, but it's not
Yeah,
consistent. It's like today's a spring pop-up.
got it.
So people, there's all these, the hard part is they usually don't want service vendors. They want like selling
Products.
goods. Mhm.
Yeah.
So if they're going to take a service person, it needs to be somebody that they have a relationship with. Like they're not going to just have six, seven different, like a cleaning service. Like nobody's going to a cute
Yep.
farmer's market for a cleaning service or a travel agent. So
Hmm.
you need to have a relationship with that local business owner or they're not going to probably invite you.
Hmm. Thinking back to networking events, I usually say commit for 6 months, but what you've shared is like 12 or 18. And I say six because that already feels like a marathon to me. But for someone who is already stepping out of their comfort zone to do an event like this, and so it's not going to continue unless there's some sort of benefit or value that's kind of being experienced. How would you define success from a networking event of like what to think about literally after an individual event, not over a period of 12 or 18 months, but like today I didn't want to go this morning, but I went, I got there, and now an hour later I'm walking back out to my car. What should we be thinking about in terms of like, was that successful? Was that worth my time? Should I come to the next one? For those of us like me who are like, ugh, I really not rather not come to the next one.
Yeah.
What does
Like what
success look?
the
What does it
KPI
look and feel like? I
basically.
don't know if it's a KPI, but it's more like, did I introduce myself? Did I meet three new people? Did I talk with anyone in like a one-on-one, just side chat about a trip?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking very low stakes here. I'm not talking that I walked
Yeah.
out with $100,000 new inquiry. I'm talking about like success looks like you got out of your house, and today in this event there were four people there that heard your pitch that have never heard your pitch before.
Like mine is walking away and having three people that I want to connect with on social media. A lot of people in networking aren't necessarily, they might not be on Instagram, Facebook. So LinkedIn is also something to lean into if you're going to be in that networking world. But coming out of it saying, I'm going to, or I want to, and like literally I'll sit there and pull up my phone and
Yeah,
add them on LinkedIn
I would
from the
just do it
meeting.
in the minute. Yeah. Hmm.
So I used to track how many new people, and then how many coffee dates, how many one-to-ones. My goal is to have one-to-one a week.
Coffee date
So,
aside
mhm,
outside of the networking event.
but you're usually getting that person from the networking event.
Right, right. And what does success look like on a coffee date?
That they asked you something about yourself. I mean, I've had some bad ones because people don't always. They're, sometimes they only talk about themselves,
Hmm.
and you learn all about their lives. And it's been hard for me to be like, let me tell you what I do, or let me tell you how I think. Now I'm at the point where like they usually know who I am going into it. So it's fine. And I'm usually there more to help them. But in the beginning, I would just listen to them talk about their whole life story and never say a thing. And it was like, what am I doing? And finally, my like networking mentor guy. He's like, you need to tell them what you need from them. And I'm like, but what do I need? He was like, tell them who your ideal client is. Like say, hey, this is who I'm looking for. Do you know anybody that fits this? So having your like that little 60-second pitch, it does matter. And it needs to be like in two ways because it's also who is your ideal networking client. Like there's somebody that you can bounce clients back and forth off of quite easily, like a mortgage broker and a realtor, right?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
sells a house, he does whatever mortgages. So they
Yep.
like go back and forth. Um, the secret is with travel advisors, it's typically financial planners.
Yep.
So if you're like this person, like they're not in my world, in my network, they don't have clients like that. They only work with, you know, their ideal client has kids 2 to 4 years old. Like I'm not typically my clients don't have 2 and 4 year olds.
Yep.
So it's like that's not going to work. But do you know of financial planners? Do you have any financial planners you can connect me with? And good networkers are like, yeah, I got two. I'll send an intro. You should go meet them. So like that's how it works.
I think you bring up a really good point is that a coffee date with someone may or may not be interesting. They may or may not ask you any questions about yourself. Maybe they're not an ideal client and their client base are not ideal clients, but bare minimum, I'm looking for a financial planner to partner with. Do you know anyone?
Yeah. But you
Ask
need
for
to have
more
that
connections.
client and more connections.
So you
Yes.
have an ideal networking business owner person and you have an ideal client, and both of these need to roll off the tongue.
Yes. Yeah. A thousand
Okay.
percent.
Uh, will you pitch me so I can hear what your 60-second pitch is?
No. Well, it depends. Oh my
Oh,
God.
okay. Then don't pitch me. Just tell me. I think I'm going to learn something from you. What type of information do you include in a 60-second pitch?
So, okay. Well, I mean, I just posted one on my Instagram a few weeks ago. Like I filmed myself live because we were able to sit
Oh,
down.
yeah.
But
You've been doing a lot of reels lately. I've been watching them.
thank you.
What
Yes.
are you eating? Is it ice cream or like yogurt? I always see you like eating on the reels. I'm always like, that
Oh
looks
yeah.
delicious. Let's
Because
listen to
it's
Kat.
yogurt. I just put up my little tripod and yeah, it's
I
the
think
only
it's
time I'm like low key, you know?
I think I also was trying to be low key. And so I made coffee. I was like making coffee in one of mine.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, how do you do that without looking? And I was like, lady, I do this every single day. I don't need to watch to make my
Yeah.
coffee. Okay.
um,
So tell me what type of
pitch.
information you share
Okay.
in a 60-second pitch when you're trying to like make the biggest impact.
Okay,
And you're
I'll do
probably
one.
not. Okay.
There's two ways. So whenever people do their pitch, they typically are saying either who their ideal client is or what they want to sell. So it's like,
Okay.
who are you looking for or what is your product, right? So I usually say, my name is Kat Morga. I own and operate Adventure Smarter Travel Agency. And my ideal client is a family that is about to have a child graduate from high school. I love a high school graduation trip. Typically, when kids are in high school, nobody travels very much. So when they get to that high school graduation trip, it's a big celebration. The whole family wants to go together, and it's typically a bucket list trip. So if you know of anybody with kids about to graduate high school thinking about a graduation trip, I'd love to talk to them. Kat Morga, Adventure Smarter, we've been there. So you do the intro, you do your little pitch, and then you have a closer. That's so the intro and the closer are always consistent.
You,
Like
the name of your company,
and what it is. And
what
then
it
you do
is.
blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, business and your like slogan. Like you need to
Yeah.
have a slogan.
I love that. We've been there. That's yours, right?
Yep, that's
That
it.
you sounded like a professional commercial, like in a good way. That was
Thank
perfect.
you. But
Okay,
but
so
that's
what's
like your ideal client, right? So like for
yes.
you, um, if you got up in a group, right? Whitney Undiscovered Sunsets, like I am here to help, I don't know, recent empty nesters take bucket list trips around the world that consist of meaningful experiences with in-destination partners that will give them memories that last them a lifetime,
Sure.
right? So
Sure.
what I like to tell people, like I've talked to a lot of people about their pitch. Usually I listen to like, what do you like to sell? What do you want to sell? Who's your favorite and ideal client? And then we can sort of navigate it by giving an ideal client a high school graduation trip or
Yes.
talking about an Italy trip or an African safari. Do not worry about niching down and networking. The goal of networking and giving that pitch that is like hyper specific is so that you are remembered. It is not to say I'm excluding all the other trips in the world. I'm excluding all
Yes.
these other people. It is so that you stand out. Oh, I remember her. She talked about going to Africa, or she talked about high school graduation trips.
So I will say that I know that you were kind of making up one about me off the cuff, but it was what you came up with off the top of your head was far more general than your own of high school graduation trips
Yeah.
because I don't even have a child who's going to graduate high school and I remember you more than the more general
Yeah.
making memories bucket list trips. I'm kind of like, yeah, about my own business, right? But because
Correct.
you were so specific, I'm still going to think of you, even if it's not a high school graduation trip. And I
Correct.
think it's your point.
Like if 15 realtors are coming up to you and one of them gives their like thing that makes them different, right? Like I only sell houseboats. I don't know. You'd be like, that's weird. I'm going to
That's
remember that.
cool. I don't know
Yeah.
if I have anyone who needs that, but I'm going to
That,
remember it. And that's the point.
that's the point. The point is to be remembered.
So, what's your second pitch? You told me you have a couple.
Well, sometimes it'll be on like something that I'm currently doing or a client story. So like I have my newspaper that I printed, so I'll go up and talk and introduce that and what the idea is. But people like to say like they'll ask you questions. So I'll do one on like, what's your favorite trip to book, or what's the last trip you booked? Or honestly, the newspaper one really helped me a lot because I'll get up and I'll be like, this week I want to talk about the Wander List. This is a newspaper that I'm recently launching because who in 2026 doesn't want to read a newspaper? And then everybody laughs. And then I say, so in this, I actually am featuring an Italian summer because right now we're talking about summer. My next one's going to be on the Adriatic coast in autumn, which is all about Croatia and Montenegro. So if you've ever seen Game of Thrones, this is where it actually is. So if you own a business that has a brick and mortar or a place where people sit, feel free to grab a stack and put them out at your business because I'd love to be a part of it. So it's like, it's an
I love it.
ask,
It's an
right? Like
ask.
giving people an ask. Or if you have an
So,
event coming up, please come to my event.
come to my event, share my marketing materials that are actually physical materials. This is think of me if you know somebody that fits this client profile. Do you ever pitch like instead of a high school graduation, pitch like a specific type of travel, like cruising, safari, anything like this? Or do you generally focus on the person that you're looking for, like the client?
The person. I mean, I'll talk about the trip I just did or I'm about to do, and that's similar, but I don't say like, today I'm going to tell you guys about 12 days in Italy. Like if they want to go on Google and see that, like I'm trying to
I guess I don't
it's
mean
not
like a today I'm going to tell you about. I mean like in the 60-second pitch. Like my ideal client is someone who is looking to go on a cruise with their family, or my
yeah,
ideal client is someone who's excited, who wants
yeah,
to go on their first African safari. Like the pitch can be, do you ever pitch
yes.
like a specific type of trip or destination like this?
Uh Not really. Only because not for any reason. It's just I do such a variety right now of these
Mm-hmm.
bucket list trips that
Mm-hmm.
I would rather talk about the type of traveler that I want. And then people always at the end will come up and be like, oh my gosh, I just went to name random place. You're like, that's so cool. So have you heard of it? Yeah, I've heard of it. So, like,
Yes.
but I don't usually talk about like I'm looking for people that are interested in taking their first safari. Like, no, I would rather get them just excited about travel in general and get them to follow me or be on my email list.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you partnered with any other business owners like a financial advisor or any type of partnership like this?
So I have a partnership with a girl in Nashville actually runs a like cheap flights.
Yep.
So she's B&A cheap flights. And my husband like loved following her because she would post these cheap flights. And so I slid into her DMs and I went out and had a coffee with her a year ago. And now her and I have a partnership, a referral partnership. So like when she sends out her emails that people subscribe to, if it's a cheap flight to Europe or Africa, she puts my information at the bottom. And if people use me, then she gets a little bonus, right? So that's the only like financial version of that I have. I have I have sponsored plenty of things around town. I am in some of our like local community groups to have stuff, but not not like a financial planner or a realtor, because I don't want to be excluding other businesses. Because I like 3 or 4 financial planners, and I might match you with somebody else,
Mm, I
So
see.
I'm not gonna pigeonhole
So you
myself into
prefer to
certain ones.
connect like just in terms of understanding all the financial advisors and who they serve so you can direct anyone to any of the
Correct.
finance rather than have a written on paper referral money is going back and forth with only one
No,
because
yeah.
then you feel like you have to send everyone that
And
direction.
that's what like the seat specific groups sort of feel like,
Got it.
which is why I don't like that, because
Got it.
I know that that financial planner, his ideal client is a high net worth, high earner, not rich yet, right? That's his thing. His
Okay.
high earner, not rich yet. So I'm like, okay, but if I meet a family that isn't high earning, but they have 3 kids and they own their home, and like I'm gonna match them. And I usually try, like, if it's in a mom's or a girls Facebook group, like matching it with a female, because that's probably what they're gonna feel more comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
like you have to read the room a little bit, but I would rather know who everybody's ideal client is, because if somebody posts on a Facebook group that they want the cheapest trip possible to Cancun, like please don't tag me. Right? No, like my networking people know, like they're like, I'm not going to tag you. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't want that to come to me.
Right.
So,
What have you what have you learned in your networking experience of something that you did or you tried or you said, and then you thought, not going to do that again?
oh, okay. My very first networking event, it was a women's group. And my mom happened to be in town. So she came with me, and it was at a church. And we're in, like, the circle tables, and everybody has lunch. And then a speaker goes up. And the girl next to me, as soon as I get there, she's like, "Hi, who are you with?" And I was like, "My mom." And she's like, "Okay." And then the next person's like, "I'm Susie with blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh, you're supposed to say your company." So, like, that was bad. That was embarrassing. Like, nobody mentioned it. Nobody laughed. Like,
Like I am right now.
yeah, it was so bad. And like now I'm like the chair of that women's group. So like
Amazing.
it worked out, but ooh, like I've had a lot of those moments. And I guess the thing that I've learned is to make sure you ask for what you need, right? So like in the one-to-one meetings, I was so like I just felt giddy to know that I was even asked to go to somebody wanted to have a coffee with me that didn't even know me. And it's like they should want to have a coffee with you. You own your own business. Like you showed up here too. So understand, but you need to know who you are before you, like, it's hard to go into those rooms without knowing who you are and who you're trying to get in front of.
No, I think that you make a really good point because as I was listening to your pitch, I was like, well, before anyone can stand up and give a 60-second pitch, they have to know the answers to these questions.
Yeah.
What is their ask? And this is almost like foundational for anyone's business. And maybe your ask in year 1 is different than your ask in year 3 is different than your ask in year 10. But the point is you have to know your ask. And
Yeah.
I've been asked things that I didn't have a solution to, and that's also okay. I mean, people have asked me like, "Do you know anyone who does kind of this or who could connect me with this
Hmm.
person?" And I don't. I
Yeah.
actually don't, but at least they knew what they were looking for and they asked me, and then I could give them an honest question, an honest answer, as opposed to the ask being unclear or vague or too general. That's also essentially asking for nothing.
Yep. Sure is. Um, yeah. Yeah, I mean it's hard, and it's something that I really like to do one-on-one with people. So when people are like when a new business, especially is in a networking room, and I can tell, like I had a former client who is now trying to show up in networking, and her and I had a coffee, and I was like, we're going to master your 60 seconds right now. I was like, we gotta figure this out, because she's a realtor. I was like, you cannot show up in that room and say, I'm looking for families that are looking to try to buy their first home. I love working with new home buyers to really educate them. Like that's what every realtor says. So like we need to, I was like, tell me your story so we can change it. And she was like, but that's what I do. I was like, no, no, no. It doesn't matter. She's like, I don't want to exclude. I'm like, we're not excluding. We're just making you memorable.
Memorable.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. We're
It's
not
not about
excluding, we're
excluding.
making that's your business coach slogan, Kat. We're not
Yeah.
excluding, we're just making you memorable.
But it's true. Like that's what we are doing. So yeah, it's a lot
Well,
of
and I
fun.
appreciate you even remember the financial guys slogan, high earners not yet rich.
Not rich yet.
Not rich yet.
It spells Henry.
Got it.
Like
He came up with that and you remember it. Like that's the whole
yeah,
point of
yeah.
like,
I
well,
have
who do I send to
like
this guy? Oh yeah, wait a second. What does Henry stand for?
yeah. High earners not rich yet. And then like our insurance guy is protecting what you built, which is probably a slogan from like a really big insurance company, but whatever, it's what I remember. Um so yes, that's why you need that tiny little slogan at the end. It always helps.
I like it a lot. Kat, you make this sound easy, natural,
Yeah.
obvious. It's not. Most people don't do this. I think it's a comfort zone thing for sure. I also think that you've shed light on the fact that there are clearly different events and different organizations that will generally provide more value than others.
Yes.
And I think early on in my experience, it was so out of my comfort zone to even mutter the word networking that when I finally did do it, I didn't choose the right events and I didn't choose
Yeah.
the right crowd. And that's why, and I also was expecting, I also thought that like,
You would
if
get
I
a
didn't
sale.
share a business card or if I didn't make a connection with someone who I thought was going to plan a trip, that felt like a failed event for me. And so I was wrong literally across the board in my
Yeah.
networking experience 10 years ago. So I mean 2020 hindsight, it's it's okay and it all worked out now, but I think you've really kind of driven home a few really important points that I think
I just
are
in
helpful.
the travel agent podcaster world, like what you guys all talk about, I just feel like the networking side of it isn't something anybody's really like otherwise people would be doing it. Like nobody's doing it. There's so many travel agents in and around Nashville. I see them at the luncheons, I see them at, different events. I meet them or I see them online. It's like maybe they're good. They don't need to grow anymore. They're happy, they're settled, but there is a big opportunity if you're in the stage of growing your business and it's just figuring out like who is your ideal client, what makes you different, and who do you want to partner with in the business world.
And if you go somewhere and there are other travel agents at those networking events, that doesn't mean you
No.
tell me that's not
No,
a bad
it's
thing.
hard on me like in my heart because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's another one, right? Like, but you also have to have the confidence to know that what that person does great and what makes them great doesn't necessarily like just like there's I compare it to hairstylists, right? So
Yes.
like the perfect hairstylist for me is probably not the perfect hairstylist for I don't know, my daughter or whoever, like my
Well, I
friend.
think like if I went to a networking event and there was only one realtor and there was only one financial advisor, I would be shocked because just off the top of my head, right now, I can think of 5 realtors and 5 financial advisors that are within a 10-minute driving distance of my house, right?
Yeah.
So the idea that another travel agent might show up to a similar networking event is absolutely, it's positive. It's not negative at all because I see it's a win-win in terms of like, oh, there's not just a travel agent in our local community. There are multiple and they're all different and they all have different niche
Yes.
clients. And just like you send different people to different financial advisors, that's a
That's
benefit for
okay.
us
That's
too.
the point.
Because if somebody thinks about the other travel advisor, then they're just thinking about travel advisors in general. So they're also probably thinking of you. So I really do see it as kind of a win-win in that regard.
Yeah, and there's like a few in my community right here, and like one of them only sells sandals. And like, yeah, I'll gladly sell a sandals, but I'm not good at it. Like I don't it's not it's not what I want to be remembered for.
Yeah.
So like I
And if
would
you,
rather them connect me with the person going to Italy, Greece, Africa, Spain, whatever.
yep. Amazing. Kat, congratulations on what you've built. Your business has
Thanks.
scaled really big, really fast. And I see you doing the work. Like, I am tired watching your Instagram, seeing how many
Oh,
events you are out, and you are
thanks.
constantly out in the community, engaging and supporting, and not just attending the events, but taking on leadership roles and leading the events. And it's really inspiring to watch.
Oh,
So
thanks.
congratulations on your success and thank you for just coming onto the podcast and sharing.
Yeah.
your
Thanks for
experience.
having me. You guys are the best.